In the early days of the A's Stadium Saga, I used to have to really dig deep for information, extract information, track down sources, find things everywhere I could, and then things took a turn. People started coming to me, sending me everything, and I cannot even begin to tell you how many people have reached out and texted me this clip of Allen Stiles on Sactown Sports saying that he heard after 2024 the A's could potentially cease operations until their home in Las Vegas is ready. Now, I know that sounds wild. I know it sounds outlandish. I know it sounds improbable. But you're not going to believe this. I actually heard the same exact thing from a reliable source about 3 weeks ago. So yeah, I've heard the same thing. Now, I hear a lot of things from a lot of places. I don't always put everything out there. I actually only put out just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more because you have to really check in, dig in, and find out if things are real, if things are credible. But this I heard from somebody very reliable. And the fact that now Allen is saying it too, that he heard it from somebody, really leads me to believe that there is some smoke to this. A lot of it doesn't make sense. We'll get into that for a second here, but let's also first listen to what he said on the radio.
You're going to want to hear this. That person told me that there is an idea being floated around that between 2025 and 2028, the A's would not exist as a franchise.
I'm sorry?
So
like
basically, so between 2025 and 2028, Major League Baseball would run with 29 teams. And when 2028 comes around, they would basically do an expansion draft. That idea is also being floated
It's almost
around.
Disbanding the A's as a franchise
for 3 years
altogether.
For 3 years.
So the reaction is a lot like how I reacted when I heard the same thing. Like, how could they possibly do that? How could the players' union possibly be okay with that? What would they do with all the players that the A's have team control of? Now, if you look at A's contracts, they really don't have anyone signed past 2024. What they do have is arbitration-eligible players and players that they have team control over. What happens to the Zach Gelofs, the Tyler Soderstroms, the Lawrence Butlers of the world? Where do they go? What happens to the A's minor league operations? I guess they could just continue playing baseball. MLB would go on with 29 teams? What does this do to the schedule makers? I think there's a lot of reasons that they would get a ton of pushback on this, but if you really look at it, what Jeff Passan said in his most recent ESPN report, that the A's missed their December deadline on figuring out where they're going to play from 2025 to 2028. The fact that the A's just a couple weeks ago started touring Sacramento, Utah, and other places, probably, parts unknown. It really tells you the A's have no plans after 2024. Until 2028, when they could potentially get their Las Vegas stadium open. And that's something that's concerned me. I've mentioned this many times. It almost seems as if the A's really don't care what happens beyond 2024. Maybe this is why. But I mean, I think so much of it doesn't necessarily check out. So much of it doesn't really work. But I do believe, based on the smoke now, and the fact that I've heard it as well, that this is something that has been considered and maybe is still being considered by Major League Baseball. So this one's wild. It is wild, but I can say I have heard the same thing that Allen heard. And that at least tells you something is cooking. And I don't like what they're cooking on that one. I think Utah is probably the most likely option at this point for a temporary home. I think the A's could always come back and try to extend the lease at the Coliseum, though they have not tried yet. That would be the smartest thing for them to do. Stay in their TV market. Stay in a stadium they already play in. Or yes, go play in minor league parks, something else the MLBPA probably doesn't want anything to do with. But yeah, this is getting wild, it's getting weird, and it keeps getting weirder by the day. This thing is not even close to over. I mean, really think about it. It's January, soon to be February 2024. They won't even have a stadium built in a best case scenario till 2028. So this crazy train's going to keep on rolling. We'll keep updating you. I don't know what else to say about this. Don't forget, check out Fans Fest. February 24th. It's a sign that everybody can come together, celebrate Oakland sports. It's not an anti-A's fest, it's a fans fest. It's about you, it's about the people, it's about Oakland sports, the roots, the ballers, the soul, many more. Lots of great former A's in attendance as well. Come celebrate. But for now, we'll keep following this. I don't know what it means. I don't know if it'll happen. I'm skeptical it could happen. But it is something that I have heard and now someone else has heard. So that tells you something. Don't forget to like and subscribe.